Krishna, thank you all for coming today. It's a pleasure to have all of you, some of you from overseas who've traveled. So thank you very much for joining us. We very rarely in Hamilton get an opportunity to have the presence of such wonderful Vaishnava devotees. So thank you very much for coming today. And we'd like to thank Maharaj for, Janananda Maharaj for coming to Hamilton and giving us his association and having wonderful kirtan and Harinam on the streets. So thank you very much.
And thank Jaitirtha Charan Prabhu and his family for coming over, all the way over from Keti Keti.
Thank you very, very much.
They're leaving for America tomorrow. Can you believe it? Where is he? He's not here. But they're leaving for America tomorrow, isn't it? They're flying to America tomorrow, to California. Big occasion. A big occasion. Family marriage, Gora. So we wish you all the best on your journey and hope everything goes good, very good. And yes, we'd like to thank. How many of you are here in this room are resident in Hamilton? Hands up if you're a Hamiltonian. Quite a lot of Hamiltonians. How many of you are resident in Kati Kati? Oh, not so many. There's two more at the back, and more or less. How many of you are resident in Fiji? Listen carefully, otherwise you won't know what to do. How many of you are resident in Fiji? Hands up. There we go. 3, 2, 3. No, you're not resident in Fiji. I mean, living there right now. Two doors. Huh? How many of you are living in Australia? Look at that. Oh my goodness. This is it. That's it. It's all over. There's no Wellington. How many of you... What is happening down there? What are you doing? Ripping up the floorboards. Where are you from? You're going to start lighting a fire in a minute, aren't you? How many of you are from Wellington? Look at that. Well, there's not many places. How many of you from South Island? Anyone from the South Island? Nobody from the South Island, my goodness. Sure, you couldn't get the visa to come up here. Where else is there? Anyone from anywhere else? No. Anyone else? No one from Auckland? Maybe one or two. Oh, we already greeted you and you came back again. How many of you from Auckland? Auckland? Oh, not so many. Pretty small time. There's more from Hamilton, there's more from Australia, almost as many from Kati Kati. Only a handful. Where are they all gone? There were so many of you. They all went back to Auckland. I think that's what happened, isn't it? They went back to Auckland. Many of them went back already. They came for the Harinam. Maybe they took the prasadam, I don't know. But they've gone. Anyway, we are where we are, and where we're from is another thing. Our identity of being an Aucklander or a Hamiltonian or a Wellingtonian or I don't know what you call it there. Aussie. These are all these temporary designations which we utilize. We're here to realize our eternal. We're all of the same individuality we have, but the same constitution. So we're here, really speaking, to realize our spiritual constitution in one sense, isn't it? Our spiritual constitution includes our eternal relationship with Krishna. So it cannot be exclusive of Krishna in any way, and whatever it may be. But that's what we're here for, because that's what pleases Krishna. When we're situated in our proper constitution. So the whole purpose of this movement is to re-establish ourselves. In fact, we can look at it in different ways, no doubt, but real devotional service starts when one comes to the Brahma-Bhuta platform, spiritual platform, when we realize I'm not a Kiwi, I'm not a Pommy, I'm not an Aussie, I'm not a fidgety. What do they call people in Fiji? Fidgeties? Fidgety people? What are they called? Fijians, that's it, Fijians. That's that fruit, isn't it? We got them growing at New Varshan. Fijian, is it? Oh, Fuji. What's it called? Fujios. That's not the name for Fijians. Fujoas. That's not the name for Fijians, so was it? Fujoas. Yeah. Whatever we call ourselves is not what we are. Yeah, it's just a label for our bodies, as we all theoretically know that, but literally to realize that, wouldn't that be something? And the process of realizing is a life, is part, I mean, ultimately it's the mercy of the Lord who gives us that realization, but it's a lifestyle that we lead, which is various ways of looking at it, but the lifestyle facilitates that realization, isn't it? As we see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, those who apply themselves to this knowledge realize this knowledge in due course of time. So those who apply this process, whatever stage we're on, gradually, of rising above these modes of nature, rising above the body platform of life. All the problems in the world, Srila Prabhupada made it quite clear, basically speaking, when we look at it in terms of the material situation. Beyond and above that, of course, there's the spiritual misuse of our independence, but within this realm, it's this false identity. Identifying Maya with what we're not, isn't it? You know, if you think you're a New Zealander and someone else thinks they're an Aussie, then you immediately have they get along okay or not? Kiwis and Aussies?
Yep.
I hope so, because there's fairly even balance in the room right now. We'll have a bit of a, whatever, scrap. Hopefully, but sometimes it's not like that. You sit in the same room. Even people, I mean, we have the unfortunate, or whatever it is, situation with Ukraine and Russia, for instance. I mean, before this happened, I mean, there's so many marriages, married one from the other, friends, and now there's so many cases they're enemies. No, we see it regularly in Europe, that people have suddenly become enemies with each other. Before they were friends. There's no real reason. Well, nothing's really changed as far as they're concerned. It's just this identification, and false identity. All the problems are due to that. So then we think with men and women, of course, we have to act according to our conditioning, according to our duties, and so on. Oh, we think with Indians or Americans or Brahmins but what is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy? What is one of the main tenets of his philosophy in regards to this? Are you a Brahmin? Are you Indian? Are you American? Are you a man or woman? What's he say? What does Lord Chaitanya say? He used to chant this before Rath Yatra festival even. What's that famous verse? There we go. You all got that, I'm sure. And if you do daily worship, you generally, before you start your puja, you will also recite this verse, just to try to get us into the right state of consciousness, to remember actually who we are, and not just who we think we are, or who we identify with in our illusion. Yes, I'm not a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, nor a Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, or Sannyasi. I identify myself only as the eternal servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the maidservants, the gopis of Vrindavan. We're simply the servant of the servant, 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 servant. You could say, I don't know if they have courses at university to become engineers and doctors and lawyers and you name it. But is there a course at university where you can become the servant of the servant, 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 servant? Do they have such a degree? A servant's degree? They have master's degrees, but do they have servant's degrees? That's what we want, isn't it? Isn't that what we're looking for? That's the process. We practice this principle of service under the direction of another devotee all the way back to Krishna. And of course they've given us this primary process of cleansing our hearts. When we hear Cheto Darpana Marjanam, what does that mean? Cheto Darpana Marjanam. What does it mean? Marjana means cleansing. Cheto, Cheta, the heart. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Cleansing the heart. Of what? Cleansing it of what? Too much cholesterol build-up? No. What is it in the heart? Something in the arteries. Is it cholesterol? What is it that blocks the arteries?
Platelets.
Platelets? Platelets or platelets? Something like that. Plates. Too much eating. You've even eaten the plates. The plates are stuck in your heart. Platelets. And no, it's not cleansing of that or even of dirty blood. What is it cleansing?
The dust that's been
Huh?
accumulated for years. The dust.
Oh, there's a lot of dust. Yeah, you gotta put a duster down your throat and cleanse your too much dust. What does that mean? Most people would not have a clue if you say dust. It doesn't. You guys must be crazy. Chanting Hare Krishna cleanses the dust from your heart. From a material point of view, it doesn't mean very much. What do we mean when we say dust?
Repeated death and death.
Pardon?
Conditioned life of repeated death and death.
Well, that's kind of, you could say, the external result. But what is the dust in the heart that we're cleansing? Accumulated garbage. Okay, well, even that is maybe one step up on dust, but it doesn't give a very clear picture to somebody who's not in knowledge. What is that? Dust or accumulated garbage which is in your heart. Your hearts are full of garbage. You're going to cleanse it. Right? Yes or no? Yes or no, Nimai? Not sure. He doesn't have any accumulated garbage. He doesn't know what it is. Okay. What is it? What are we talking about?
The sins from this life and past lives.
Pardon?
The sins from this lives and past lives we've committed.
This life and past life. And what was the other word?
The sins.
Sins.
Sins. Yeah.
Sins. Your karmic reactions, okay. Is that all? I mean, you could define everything in that regards in one sense, but that won't be so clear to most people. You know, karma, I'm not going to say the other aspect, but it'll be the answer. But what else is there besides just the karmic reactions? That's okay, that's true. But what else is there?
Material contamination.
What does that mean?
The contamination that we are living in this material world.
Yeah, well, what is that contamination?
That we are accumulating too much wealth and we are thinking about people and we are not giving attention to
Put a summary to that. I mean, you don't have to go into every fine detail of that, but what is it? Pardon? Yes?
Illusion.
Huh?
Illusion.
Illusion. Illusion is the overall kind of covering there. And what is that illusion? What is the illusion we're in?
False ego.
False ego. Well, the false ego is you could say, it is indeed. I mean, due to false ego. What is it? What is that false ego? What is it?
I am the controller.
I am the controller. Okay, there's one. This is one disease condition, thinking I'm the controller. Anything else? I'm the body. This is a disease condition. You go to the doctor. Any doctors here? Any medical doctors? Don't be shy. Any medical doctors here? We have a very sick patient. Needs immediate medical treatment. Are you a doctor? No, what are you?
A soul.
He's a soul.
Not a body.
He's a soul. Okay, we have a very serious problem over here. This young man here is very diseased condition of life. Okay, I guess. Are you the doctor? Who's the doctor? Here, Dr. Gora. You look like a doctor. You're not a doctor? He's not a doctor. No. Spiritual doctor. Oh dear, my dear. Oh no. Dear doctor, I'm so sick. I'm completely sick. You won't believe how sick I am. You look all right to me. What's wrong with you? Please help me. What's the problem? I think I'm my body. I think I'm this body. Really? Yes, it's terrible. I think I'm the body. Very interesting. Just give me a few moments. You don't do this anymore. Hello, is that the psychologist? I got a really problem case here. God knows what he'll do next. He's mad. Bring some security officers with you. Come over quick and take him away. Almost like that, isn't it? You can't relate to it at all. Of course you're your body. Of course you are. This is their disease. But that's one. And you think you are the controller. Okay, what else? The big one. The big one. What's the big one? Come on.
I am the enjoyer.
I am. Who said that? There, he knows all about it. He is an Aussie. They know very well. They may not be the controller or whatever, but they do know one thing. They are the enjoyers. They are indeed the enjoyers. They try to be. Yeah, we think we're the enjoyers. Everything around us is for my pleasure. Right? Sense gratification. The addiction to sense gratification is so strong, isn't it? Even about, I mean, we all have it. We know it's theoretically speaking, it has to transform, but we've still got it. I mean, there's a way of transformation. Just now, I mean, it's Ekadashi today, so I know all you just ate just now was boiled cabbage. I saw it. There's a pot of boiled cabbage, wasn't it? Without salt. That was all for lunch today, wasn't it? Was that it? Boiled cabbage? Oh, you had some boiled, what was it? Oh yeah, cassava also. Boiled cassava stems. With some boiled cabbage. Yeah. No, you just had probably some nice tasty prasadam. And of course you enjoy it. But it's prasad, it's in relation with Krishna. This is on different levels of consciousness, it will be appreciated differently, but this is the purificatory process. We see things in relation with Krishna. You know, even the beautiful things of this world, we try to remember them in relation with Krishna. This gradually purifies us of seeing everything in relation with me. The basic, someone mentioned false ego, so all the other things stemming, you could say, stemming from that, this false perception. The process of devotional service is a famous verse quoted in the Nectar of Devotion. There's two, right in the beginning, in the introduction preface, there are two famous verses quoted. One of them is Anyabhilasata Shunyam Jnana Kamajinavatam. Some of you are familiar with this verse. Huh? And it describes the definition of devotional service. Does anyone know the definition? It's given by Rupa Goswami in the beginning of the Nectar of Devotion, in the introduction. It describes the characteristics of devotional service. Does anyone know? Anyabhilasata Shunyam Jnana Kamajinavatam. What's the next line? Pardon? Somebody? You haven't forgotten, Gaur, I don't believe it. I bet you knew that verse on the back of your hand. Start looking at the back of your hand. I never realised my back of my hand's got all these crinkles and creases. What's those brown spots on it? Oh my God. Come on. Second line, come on. Who's saying that? Huh? Is that Aussie again, is it? They think they know everything. Not only do they enjoy, they think they know everything as well. Isn't that amazing? These Aussies. Anukulyena Krishnanu? Bhakti. So what does this mean? What does it mean? definition of devotional service. It's a good idea to know what devotional service is. It's not just an activity. There's no mention of an actual specific activity, although devotional service is mentioned. What is the characteristic? There's two aspects of characteristic. One is the Tadastha Lakshana and the other is Fruit Lakshana. The Tadastha Lakshana is the secondary characteristics, that which is not. So what isn't it? And what is devotional service, devoid of, so to speak? What is that?
Devoid of superficial desires.
Who's speaking? There we go. Sorry?
Devoid of superficial desires.
Yeah, that's a generalization, isn't it? Anyabilasata shunyam is without any other desire. Neither of that for jnana or knowledge, or material knowledge, or knowledge separate from devotion, or material gain in terms of sense enjoyment, or any other process, yoga or mystic powers or anything else that people may aspire for. The devotional service doesn't have any of those objectives or any of those goals, nor does it have any of those motives or whatever. So that's what it's not. It has to be freed of those. In other words, it has to be pure of those other intentions. And what is it on the positive side then? It's not enough just to say it's without. What is it with? Anukulyena means what? It's partikul, anukul. What's anukul?
Except what is favorable.
Favorable. Partikul is unfavorable. Two of the limbs of surrender in devotional service, to accept that which is favorable and to reject that which is unfavorable. So anukul is favorable. So devotional service has to be favorable. Favorable to who? To me? To you? To the society? To Krishna. Anukulyena Krishna. Favorable to Krishna. Pleasing to Krishna. Krishna Anushilanam. What's Anushilanam?
Exercise.
Pardon?
Exercising.
Exercise, yoga exercise. Is that what you said?
Like practicing.
Huh?
Like practicing.
Oh, practicing. I thought you said exercises and some press-ups and standing on your head and some yoga exercises, yeah? Very pleasing to Krishna. Not necessarily. Yes, practicing, but Shila means cultivation, cultivating. And what is anu? Sometimes the word's used differently. I'm not a Sanskrit scholar, but in this case, what does anu refer to? Come on, what does anu refer to? Maybe it's someone's name, but in this case, what does it refer to? Anu. Shilanam is cultivation. It can mean one of two things, or both things actually. Following in the footsteps. Following in the footsteps of those who are favorably serving Krishna and following. Cultivation, following in the footsteps of those who are devotees of Krishna. Or it may be constantly, always following. That is pure devotional service. That's a general description, of course, but it's the basic. It's the Paribhasya Sutra, the main verse of the Nectar of Devotion. The essential purpose of the whole text is contained. To awaken pure devotional service is the goal of the text. And the fruit is the fruit of the scripture, in the Nectar of Devotion. But there's another verse which is also very, there are many verses, but one verse which I don't know if it was before or after, but around about the same time Rupa Goswami presents this verse also, describing the cleansing of the heart. Anyone know? What is the dirt that we have to remove? Who can think? Who can remember? I know it's not very easy. That was 10 minutes ago when we discussed this, so we're not expecting anyone to remember what the dirt is that we're trying to cleanse from our hearts. But does anyone remember it?
Material enjoyment.
Material enjoyments, which we summarized in terms of slightly different terminology. What term did we use? Pardon? Sorry? You might be right, but I couldn't hear it. Somebody said something. The enjoyer, okay, but I termed it, well, maybe you can't remember, I termed it a little differently.
Sense gratification.
Material sense gratification. material sense gratification is one. What was the other one? That's two. There's two mentioned. One is material sense gratification, thinking of the enjoyer, okay. And the other one?
Illusion.
What's the illusion? That is also an illusion.
I'm the body.
I'm the body. So these two things are the basic, you could say, effects of Maya. By Maya's influence, we identify with the body and we think we're the enjoyer. So these are the two, you could say, general categories to be cleansed of these two kinds of illusions from the heart. So there's a very nice verse, which also is in that chapter, or maybe next, I don't, maybe the next one, I don't, but at the same time, in Nectar of Devotion, which describes that. Sarva Upadi, what's that mean? Sarva Upadi.
Devoid of material designations.
Yeah, Sarva Upadi, well, Sarva Upadi is literally all various false identities or identities itself, all false. Sarva Upadi Vinimukta means free from. You're released from or freed from all material designation. Tat Padadvena Nirmalam, what's that mean? What's that one? Tat Padadvena Nirmalam. Anyone know? Tat Padadvena Nirmalam. Pardon?
Always willing to serve.
Well, that's part of the process. That comes in the next line primarily. There's the other one. It's the freed of this false identity of being the body, and cleansed of this desires, all these other desires, removing all of these false desires or these illusory desires of being, cleansing the heart, purifying the heart of all these ideas of being the enjoyer and so on and so forth, or seeing the world as for my pleasure only, object of my sense gratification. These are cleansed away by the process of Rishikena Rishikesha. What is Rishikena Rishikesha? Who is Rishikesh? Name of Krishna. What does it mean? Yeah, master of the senses. Huh? So we engage our senses in the service of the master of the senses. That's basically devotional service. Is described as, this is devotional service. And it gives, very simple, devotional service can be described as engaging our senses in the service of the master of the senses. And it also gives, the other verse doesn't really give the effects, it gives the definition of devotional service. This one gives a summary of that, but it gives the effects also. So these two verses are the key verses, opening the door to the ocean of devotion. The unending, eternal nectarian ocean of devotion, the nectar of devotion. So bearing that in mind, this is our process, our movement, and particularly the chanting. The Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has emphasized, the Shastras emphasize, our acharyas emphasize that in this age the process of Rishikena Rishikesha is to chant the holy names. Very difficult, very difficult. We just honor prasadam, and we all have this tradition. We do not say on Ekadashi. What don't we say on Ekadashi? Or you're not allowed to say it, so you can't say what you don't say, because you'll be in trouble. What don't you say? Okay, you say the first line. Sharirada Vijayajal. Oh, what is that? Sharirada Vijayajal. What does that mean? Pardon?
This body is an ocean of ignorance.
This body is an ocean of ignorance. Oh my goodness. You guys, you Hare Krishnas, you really got a problem, you know. What's wrong with you guys? Come on, enjoy yourselves. What are you talking about? And the senses are networks of paths leading to death. What's wrong with you? Come on, enjoy your senses where you can. People will say. It's a little bit, I don't know if we even think about the meaning when we say this prayer. Probably not. It's just something we rattle off before we eat. Maybe you don't even do it. But certainly on Ekadashi, certainly on Ekadashi, we're supposed to be conscious of this. We're supposed to realize it. on Ekadashi, the goal is to put Krishna in the center, not ourselves, especially the tongue. The tongue is very voracious of all the senses, is very voracious and difficult to control, isn't it? The eyes are difficult, every sense is difficult to control, but the tongue is very difficult. It has two major activities. What are they? What is it? Two major activities. Can't be can't be a more difficult question than that. I can't think of a more difficult. What is its two most major activities? The tongue.
Eating and sleeping.
Huh? Pardon?
Eating and sleeping.
Speaking. And what else?
Eating and sleeping.
Eating. Yeah, this very powerful sense. Huh? Likes to speak and definitely likes to eat tasty dishes. Very difficult to control it. It's very hard to overcome. But by taking on it, honoring Krishna Prasad, one can conquer over this tongue. So we've just been doing that. It's a process of purification of this illusion of identity or thinking we're doing joy. And particularly the tendency to speak can be quite destructive. In fact, there's interesting. It's kind of related, but when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Puri, and one of his chief associates was Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami. And Raghunath Das Goswami one time approached Lord Chaitanya, asked him for instructions on the duties of a sannyas, or one in the renounced order of life. Huh? So Lord Chaitanya left it up to Sri Damodar to inform him, but the answer was that, in the renounced order of life, you should not, three negatives and one positive. You should not eat fancy foods. Okay, that counts me out. You should not dress in fancy clothes. That definitely counts me out. And you shouldn't talk Gramya Katha. That finishes me off altogether. And on the positive side, in your heart of hearts, you should always be focused, meditating upon Radha and Krishna, the Supreme Lord and His consort. This is the business of a sannyasi. So, whatever. We may not come up to that mark, but that's what Lord Chaitanya said, and Sri Damodar Prabhu said. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj describes that of those three don'ts, if you eat too much, it affects you, the person who eats too much. It's not really so detrimental. Of three, it's the least dangerous. If you dress in foppish, as they call it, foppish? I don't know if that's the right word. In a very kind of overly, fancy way, or you have your hair all wavy and combed, and you've got the latest golden jewelries, and your dress is immaculate and such a lovely design and everything. Everyone looks at you. It affects everyone around you. So it's more serious. But if you talk Gramya Katha, it affects the whole world. Everyone's affected. So that's the worst of the three. Anyway, these three things are there. The talking. Two of them are the tongue, eating and talking. Powerful. So we try to moderate those according to our situation in the right way, so we don't extreme. We can't do without, but not to go to extreme. That which is required, that which is necessary. Take that which is necessary, not more than required. So, but the primary way that we, let's say, on the positive side, meditating on Radha Krishna is by chanting the holy name of Krishna. Chanting the Maha Mantra. When we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We may or may not be aware of it. We may be just mechanically chanting. But actually, what are we referring to? Who are we referring to when we chant? Yes? Yeah. And? Radharani, Radha and Krishna. Prabhupada does say in some places that primarily the devote, at least the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we're referring to Radha and Krishna. Prabhupada says sometimes. There are three Rams. You know who the three Rams are? Who are the three Rams? Yes. Balaram. And who's the other one? Lord Ramchandra. Who's the other one? Pardon? Who? No. There's Balaram. He's a Ram. Parashuram. Parashuram. I've yet to come across anyone who's chanting the Maha Mantra with Parashuram as their meditative Ishtaday, their goal of chanting. There might be, but I don't know. I've never. Who is Parashuram's consort? I've never heard of this consort. The axe, okay. So maybe somebody was really. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, get him! I'm gonna cut his head off. Hare, Hare, Guru Krishna. I don't know. Sounds a bit offensive. But I've never come across that yet. Whew. Chanting axe, Parashuram, axe. No, I don't know if it's the axe. I'm not sure about that. But whatever it is, I've never come. Lord Ramchandra, yes, many people chant the Maha Mantra, but they're meditating on Lord Ramchandra. And there's nothing intrinsically wrong in that, if that's your bhav. But that's not generally the bhav or the general understanding, or certainly not the depth of understanding of the Maha Mantra, that's for sure. It does contain all other forms of worship. Everything is there in the Maha Mantra. All the mantra's purposes are also contained within the Maha Mantra. And those who have, if they do have a particular affinity towards the Lord in different moods, it will also awaken by chanting the Maha Mantra, because all those forms of Godhead are present within Krishna. They're all there. Every other form is simply an expansion of Krishna. And the concerts are expansions of Radharani. So they're all contained within the Maha Mantra. But primarily for a devotee, we're approaching Radha and Krishna. So the actual understanding of the word Rama is generally not, you think Radha, Krishna, 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 Radha, Radhi. That sounds fine. But Radha Balaram, what is this? Radha Ramchandra? Okay, Sitaram. Well, why didn't you just chant Sitaram? What is this Radha? What is Hari? You could say it's Sita also. But the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they generally refer to Radharaman, Radharama. Yes. Generally, one who is most dear to Radharani. So generally, that's what the Vaishnavas. So there's another meaning to the, or let's say, meditation when we chant Hari Rama. And because Radharani is most confidential. You don't generally advertise your most confidential property. She's most, and her name is most confidential to Krishna. So we don't directly say Radha Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radha. So she appears in a way which is, for the general populace at least, for the neophytes, is a little hidden, you could say. I don't understand what it means, but the vocative form of Hare is another address of Radharani. The internal energy, the internal potency of the Lord. So by associating like this with this Maha Mantra, by hearing carefully, then this cleanses our heart of all the dust accumulated for many, many years together. Cleanses the heart and burns up all these unwanted accumulated desires and so on. Blazing fire of material existence extinguishes it. So this chanting is the primary way, Rishikesh, of engaging our senses, our tongue, our ears, maybe our eyes, it depends, you can close them or look at Krishna's picture or something. And of course our mind, what to speak of the mind. Maybe not so much the nose, maybe the sense of touch, we touch the tulsi beads when we're chanting japa or the kartals in kirtan. I don't quite know where the nose comes in, maybe someone's burning. Huh?
smell the incense.
Yeah, if there's any incense during the kirtan. But during kirtan, sometimes there's some incense there. It's not direct, but it sometimes accompanies. But the other senses are directly engaged in kirtan. Hearing, chanting, remembering, maybe touching instruments, and seeing devotees or seeing the holy name. Sometimes you look at the holy name, sometimes you look at the deity, whatever. So we'll practice now, try to meditate on this. Anukulena Krishna Anushilana, we're going to try to practice, cultivating in the way that the pure devotees have guided us to favorably chant the holy name. What would you describe as a favorable act of chanting? What would you say is favorable?
With attention.
Excuse me?
With attention.
With attention, okay, that's a very clear and simple and direct and correct answer. It could be other things too. So that's one easy one to relate to. To try to chant with attention, that is favorable. It may or may not be absolutely favorable, but it certainly has to be there to be in the category of favorable. What else?
Humility.
Because it may not be favorable also, even attentive chanting. Depends how you define attentive, may not be. What was the other one?
Humility.
Okay, now humility is, of course, defined in different ways, but Lord Chaitanya said, Trinadapi Sinichina Turapi Sahishna. We have to chant with humility, tolerance, respect for others, and so on. We'll put them in a general category with the right concept, the right attitude. You may be very attentive, but you're being very attentive to achieve a purpose other than that which is favorable to Krishna. It's not exactly in chanting, but the principle is there. That Kamsa, for instance, was always thinking of Krishna, but you wouldn't call it anukulena. He may have been thinking of Krishna more than some devotees, but he hates Krishna. He hates him. Can't get him out of his mind, you know. Get out of here. Kill you. Kill you. He hated him, in one sense. So it's not necessary just it's the attitude, the favorable attitude that one wants to please Krishna. You can be attentive to try to get mystic powers, to get liberation, to become a guru, to whatever it may be, to even up to the point of wanting to become God himself. You may use that. But for sure, for those who are practicing favorable devotional service, particularly being attentive is a very important principle as much as we can apply. And the other factors mentioned of attitudinal ones, humility and tolerance, respect for others, and don't expect any respect. They're not so easy as they sound in one sense. Each one of them is a topic unto itself. But the right attitude in chanting. So we follow in the footsteps of the pure devotees who do have the right attitude and who are constantly chanting the holy name. Satatam kirtiyanto mam yatantas chadudavata. They're always chanting the holy name of Krishna. They can't stop. It's not like they have to wind themselves up and then start. But there's a constant, spontaneous, natural inclination to glorify Krishna for his pleasure. Not to get a crowd or to get respect, not to get money or position or anything like that, but simply for the pleasure of Krishna. So we follow in the footsteps of such pure devotees, and if we follow the process they give us by their mercy, then gradually we may become purified of all the dust accumulated for years together in our hearts. So we'll try to, with the best you can, let us now chant the holy name of Krishna. I have a quick question. Did Jivananda Prabhu go back to Auckland? Do you know if he went back, Rasika?
Sure. Unlikely.
Oh, who was his driver? Raghavir? Is he here?
No, he left Prabhuji.
Raghavir left.
Yes.
So they've gone back, that means. Okay. Appears they've gone back.
Daniel Prabhu has
Pardon?
Daniel Prabhu has problem not put.
Is he gone?
Yeah,
He left also.
he was telling me.
Why did it?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure they had reason. It's too late now. And there are no hard and fast rules in chanting. Is that what we hear? We heard the other night, a few of you were with us, maybe 4 nights ago. Yes, anyone can chant. It doesn't matter who you are, even the most sinful person can chant Hare Krishna and they'll benefit. But if we really want to awaken favorable, or chant favorably, if we really want to please Krishna, if we really want to awaken love of Krishna, then we should also try to avoid the 10 offenses in chanting the holy name. This is also important if we want to progress. And in order for us to evoke the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha and Krishna, we have to please their pure devotees. So we approach Radha and Krishna, we approach Krishna through his devotees. We can't approach him directly. We go through his pure devotees. So we first of all, let us glorify, remember Srila Prabhupada, and all of our acharyas, of course, but specifically Srila Prabhupada. So first we're saying Prabhupada's pranams, and then, simply by the mercy of Chaitanya and Guru Gauranga, we approach Krishna through Guru Gauranga. We go through Lord Chaitanya and his associates. And then, by their mercy, hopefully, by their grace, we can chant Hare Krishna without offense. Do we have all the instruments available? Who's the harmonium player today? Nasikananda knows my voice. He knows my voice. He's good at it. You going to play harmonium?
He's also good.
Is it? Do you think you can follow my voice? It's very difficult to follow.
I'll try.
You'll try. If you're having difficulty, give it to Rasika. He does it all the time. Please excuse me, my false teeth fly out my mouth during the kirtan. I won't be able to catch them very well with my cartels. So don't be surprised if a pair of false teeth suddenly crashes into you during the kirtan. Be careful with the metal plates, so they're quite sharp. Yeah, they're loose right now. Nasikananda Prabhu knows why, so we will at some point in time have to fix it. The main tooth holding it as if decided to disappear. I don't know where it went. It might have gone inside my stomach or something. I don't know where it went. Not in the mouth anymore, that's for sure. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale. You might want to wait a few minutes until I'm in gear. It takes a while to get into gear, you know. Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Sunyavani Pastyachari Satarine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Tunyavani Astachare Satarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gauravata Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gauravata Vrinda Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga 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 Jai Sachinandana 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 Gaura Hari Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hari Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 I asked a question last night. Carry on beating and carry on droning. I asked a question last night during the kirtan. What are you thinking of? What's now in your mind? So, does anyone have anything other than hopefully not mundane thoughts? Does anyone have any special thought in their heart? Nobody? Completely blank? Pardon?
The deities of the Bible.
Okay, isn't that nice? The deities at New Maripur, they're on the altar. Gauranga Prem spent many years at New Maripur. He's remembering the deities there. I'll tell you what I'm thinking of. I think of Achyuta. Is Achyuta here? Achyuta Keshava? Or Rasika? Either of you probably know what I'm thinking of. What do you think I'm thinking of? It's not like what I was thinking of last night. We were on the river Yamuna last night. Tonight we're on a different river. Anyone know? Do you know? Close to a river anyway. Do you know where? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Keep droning, keep chanting. Gauranga Prem mentioned New Maripur. I'm in Paris. You know where I am? Heaven forbid, but I'm in Paris. May God protect you. At least in Paris you have to take shelter of Krishna, that's a fact. It's an incentive. I'm in the place called Châtelet-Le. You know where Châtelet-Le is in Paris. Well done. Where? In the city centre. It literally means, and some of you heard this the other day, it literally means the gates to hell. That's a little bit of a play on words. Châtelet means like the fortress gate. So Leal. Leal doesn't mean hell, but we call it hell. So the gates, fortress gates to hell. And that's where we go, to Sankirtan, almost every day. For weeks in, weeks out. And that tune, this tune, is sometimes, I would sing there on my own for hours and hours on end. Just lead and response. This is the tune I would sing. Now on and on and on. It just reminds me of that. Some of the most ecstatic moments of my life. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, another tune. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, just imagine, keep beating, keep droning. Just imagine sitting in the middle of Paris, like you probably can't imagine it, you probably don't want to imagine it, but in the middle of Paris, chanting more or less non-stop for 6 hours. And the same tune, I just changed the tune, but I would sometimes chant the same tune for 3 hours or more. And whether anyone stops or doesn't stop, whether they call you ill names or they don't call you ill names, it doesn't matter. It's all mercy. Just chanting. How would you think you'd feel after 6 hours of that? I was tired, maybe tired, I don't know. Hungry, cold. Oh, by the way, it's below freezing. Forgot to mention that one. 2 pairs of socks on, 2 pairs of underwear, long johns. 2 pairs. Six pairs up the top, 2 hats. Sort of gloves, but difficult to do it with gloves. Frozen fingers, they're gone, you can't even feel them. Special effect. You remember those days? Long gone. Well, some or another. Just remembering the mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, that's all you have to do. How merciful they are. By their grace, by Prabhupada's grace, everything is possible. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Gauranga Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Nityananda Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hey 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hey Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Gauranga Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Nityananda Hare Rama Hare Rama Devananda Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna no. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Gauranga, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Bolo, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, go and go, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Gaur Premanandi. They will note us up here. Please stop. Will you please be quiet? You're disturbing the peace. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Harinama Sankirtan ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna. Spoil of sport. It's still only 12 o'clock. I just looked at the watch downtown. The clock stays the same in the city centre of Christchurch. You know. The town died like 6 years ago. It hasn't moved a minute since then, you know. It's still 12 o'clock. Right? You saw the clock? Permanently on 12 o'clock. We started at 12, we ended at 12. Timeless world, huh? Seemed like for eternity. Well, that is eternity. I mean, what are we? We're just some imitation, perverted reflection or something. But you can imagine what it's like in the spiritual realm. You know? Constant festo, dancing and chanting and singing, huh? Feasting. Constant. Lord Chaitanya said dancing, chanting and feasting. Huh? Is that right? I vaguely remember that somewhere.
In that order.
Pardon?
In that order.
In that order? Well, I don't know if that's the order. Chanting, dancing. I think chanting, dancing and feasting is the right order. Chanting, dancing and feasting. Because chanting automatically, you know, if we get into, let's say, absorb ourselves into the association of the holy name, the dancing becomes almost automatic. You don't have to impose it. It's automatic. And after like 12 or 14 hours of dancing and chanting, you feel a little hungry. So then you can have a break for prasadam. Maybe 14, 15 hours. It's something like, takes about 14 hours before it really takes off, the kirtan. Most of our kirtans are so short, we haven't even taken off, you know, we're still on the runway. We haven't taken off. It doesn't mean you have to be like a machine gun or like, you know, a rocket or something. But absorption in the holy name, it often takes a while before that. And then you get taken away, huh? Carried away. Carried away in the spirit of the holy name. Takes us away from whatever upadhi is, whatever dirt there may be in our heart, we just go, it's gone. It's not in the way anymore. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time, or we don't put enough time into kirtan, and just the way our busy lives are, maybe. But that's the desire of Lord Chaitanya, ultimately, the Kirtaniya Siddhahari. We all come to that platform of constant chanting. Maybe that's already been mentioned, the qualification for that. To always want to chant Krishna's name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Too simple to be true. Any comments or questions? In many ways, all answers are solved. All problems are solved. Questions are answered when we absorb ourselves in chanting, because what is the point of questions? What is the purpose of asking questions? What is the purpose? Learning, exactly. What else? You want to know. Depending on what you want to know. You want to know. What else? It's a similar thing said in a different way.
Removing doubts.
Clear up doubts. Clear up the ignorance in our heart. Krishna says, Sai Mayahaya Antakarala. Krishna is the sun. Like the sun. He is the sun also. He's like the sun too. Meaning that the effect of the sun is that anything that comes in contact with it becomes purified. One way or another. So coming in contact with Krishna purifies our heart, and wherever there's Krishna there cannot be Maya. So all the doubts in our heart, which are Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is like demons, and they're all removed, all destroyed in the presence of the chanting of the holy name. All one's questions can be solved. All one's problems, can be solved. Questions can be revealed. Answers revealed in the heart. Things become clearer. Otherwise it remains foggy, even if you get the right answer. Because of the foggy consciousness, we cannot really digest the answer. It just doesn't settle in our hearts. We're looking for something else. When the purification of the heart takes place, then everything becomes clear, just like the sun when it rises in the morning, everything becomes clear. Might be a bit of fog for a while, but in due course of time, Kechit Kevalya Bhaktya, Vasudeva Prana, Agandun Swansikatsnya Niharam, Eva Bhaskara. This is the process of exposure, absorption in devotional service, cleanses away or removes all this mist, all the fog in our hearts. So things become clear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Today I believe is Ekadashi. Is it still Ekadashi? Still Ekadashi? In Hamilton also it's Ekadashi. We follow Ekadashi here. Where are the Hamiltonians? There they are, quite a lot of you. You following Ekadashi today? You are, okay. But it's funny, sometimes between, same country, between two towns, sometimes it's a different day. Sometimes that happens. It was a good day for chanting and hearing. Hare Krishna. What is your good name, Prabhu?
Rasotsava.
Pardon?
Rasotsava Das.
Vasotsava, Prabhu. You live in Hamilton? Vasotsava, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. You are very fortunate. What are you doing? What's your job? You have a job or you?
Oh yeah.
What do you do?
I work in a factory.
Factory must be good. You look very blessed.
Prabhupada says it's demonic.
Did he? Well, he said it's demoniac. Okay. Well, I guess it depends. Depends what you're doing in the factory, isn't it? If you're chanting Hare Krishna all the time, it's very nice. I worked in the factory when I was a young man. I would try to chant Hare Krishna all the time. I could, at least. It was nice. Good memory. Yes, I hope so.
When the tough times roll.
When the what?
When the tough times roll.
Pastimes.
When the tough times roll, and you try to chant Hare Krishna, how do you know that Krishna is actually reciprocating? And how can you actually chant Hare Krishna?
I've heard most of it. I didn't really catch the first line.
In the tough times.
Oh, tough times. I think said pastimes. Even if it is, pastimes in this material world are not always. When the tough times roll.
How do you know that Krishna is reciprocating? That is, even if you are chanting, and how do you even chant when the tough times roll in the first place?
Well, if it's tough, did you say roll?
Basically, when you're having a tough time, basically.
When you're having a tough
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
You know, not rolling on the ground. Tough times.
Maybe.
Maybe indeed, you may well be rolling on the ground in agony, or something like that. How do you know that Krishna's reciprocating? Well, of course, there's different ways that Krishna reciprocates. He's reciprocating with every living entity, first of all. As they surrender unto me, Krishna. So it doesn't matter who you are, Krishna's reciprocating. Even with the ant, he's reciprocating with everyone according to their karma, desire, and so on. So that much is like a generalization. And if we don't accept that, then there's not really any meaning to relationship or Krishna's position as the guide in everyone's heart, guiding the wanderings of all living entities, which he is, according to Bhagavad Gita. So without that basic thing. So I think you mean more in terms of how do we know that he's reciprocating with us in a way which is favorable rather than just rewarding us for our sins or good behavior or whatever, which he also is indirectly or directly. So how do we know? Well, what do you think? Who can think of something that might indicate that Krishna is reciprocating? Whether we're talking in terms of an aspiring devotee going through tough times and difficult to chant, how do we know this? How is this Krishna's reciprocation?
More opportunities to do seva.
Good point. There's more opportunities, that's right. Well, when we say seva, it can mean many things, the 9 limbs of devotional service. Many times in those difficulties, and I'm not saying every one of us does this, but many times in those difficulties, what do you do? When you're in real difficulty, what do you record? What do you take recourse to? What do you do?
deeper shelter of Krishna.
Pardon?
Take deeper shelter of Krishna.
Take deeper shelter. You may cry to Krishna or reveal your heart internally, or you may pray intensely. You may start to, have many realizations about, many things in your life, what you've done to others, or different things may come along if it's going to be different in this regard. That's just one example. You're turning to Krishna in a sense, and you're accepting responsibility for a situation. When you're going through tough times, there's many ways you can reciprocate with that. You can reciprocate in an angry way, condemning others, it's their fault. Why is Krishna doing this to me? At least you're thinking of Krishna, it's not totally wrong. Others will be thinking, oh, this is the fault of my, whatever it is, guru or somebody like that. Whatever. We may have a blaming mentality, but that's not very favourable. Maybe there. It happens quite often in near-fight stage. But we may try to take responsibility for our situation. We can't necessarily deal with it. It's tough. It's difficult. We can't just snap out of it very easily. But there's a very, I used to, and still do sometimes, but not so much as I used to probably. Used to kind of have a few key verses. There's one very famous verse, probably the most famous of all these verses in this type of situation you find yourself in, which it may or may not help, but it certainly, there's several verses, two in the 11th canto, I think, I'm not sure, chapter 20 or what, I can't remember, 19, somewhere in the 11th canto, beautiful verses which describe how, basically in a nutshell, how the living entity in this world, despite our endeavours to become Krishna conscious, that sometimes we have faith in the process, but we're not so strong. Sometimes we have our slip-ups, or there's some very great difficulties there. And we have to, I can't reflect on the exact verses right now, so long ago. But one which always stands out, which Srila Prabhupada emphasizes hundreds of times, to remind us of the situation and what to do in those situations. This is spoken by Lord Rama in the 10th canto, 14th chapter, I think it's text 8 or something like that. Tatenu kompam sishamikshaman punjana evatmikitadipakam. When a devotee finds themselves in great difficulties, we find there's two generalizations where we find ourselves in difficulty. One is it's a karmic reaction. Of course, we say for a devotee there's no karmic reactions as such, but there are in the form of token reactions. And those token reactions are described in that commentary to that verse are exactly what's meant to release us from the causes of our entanglement in this world. The attachments, the false concepts and so on. So when we see ourselves questioning like that, it's not just someone else's fault or why I'm chanting Hare Krishna, this is happening to me. But we understand this is some purification going. So the other side of it is a very purifying, if the devotee looks at it in the right way. Instead of screaming and crying and blaming and what have you. We try to take shelter and try to understand what Krishna's lesson, or what's to be learned here. The devotee takes shelter of Krishna. You don't need to ask anything. Krishna knows everything. And if we take shelter of Krishna in those difficult times like that, one can become a inheritor, eligible to inherit the kingdom of God. It's a test to help purify us, to bring us to that point. We go through our devotional service with all kinds of mixed motivations. No doubt there's some sincere desires, some rather selfish desires are there too. So Krishna wants to remove those selfish desires. And so when you see in yourself, when your desires are not being fulfilled, so to speak, this is, someone said opportunity. This is an opportunity to actually take shelter of Krishna. It's an opportunity to let go and give up these mixtures which are there in our hearts, etc. Take shelter of pure devotion. So Krishna's trying like that. So oftentimes when we're having some difficulty, it's because Krishna sees that there's something in our attitude, something in our consciousness which is blocking our relationship. So he arranges things so we let go of that. And that's a big topic. It involves innumerable different situations. But in principle, Krishna's hand is working out. And for sure, if it's helping you to take shelter, I mean, devotees in Russia, for instance, said, when they, after the glasnost, I guess it was in the late 80s, I think, that the communist regime was curtailed. The devotees said it was a lot easier to practice Krishna consciousness during the communist time than it was after. Because they were in a difficult situation, they really had to take shelter. They were very serious. Very serious. So you find different situations, some may go the other way, but if you're sincere, then we'll realize this is a great opportunity to advance in Krishna consciousness. Great opportunity to take shelter of Krishna in difficulty and adversity, and not to give up. When it's very, oh, this has gone to sleep. It's already time up. Time up, it said. Time is up. So a time will be up for all of us in due course of time. That's no doubt about that. So Krishna's putting us into situations too, because don't forget that at some point of time we'll have to face death. And that's quite challenging, no doubt about that. So he's also preparing us for that. So the difficult situations we go through, also preparation. There's many different angles of this subject. So that's another one. He's preparing us to quit this body in Krishna consciousness. We practice that. We may not be aware of that, but if we can be at least aware of it and try to do, even if it's mechanical, then it's still good, even if it's not spontaneous. At least mechanical. We can try to take this course instead of just groaning and moaning or complaining or blaming, whatever it is. We take shelter of Krishna and gratefully thank the Lord for whatever mercy He's bestowing upon us. Beg Him for His mercy that we learn our lessons, or give us the strength to take this trial, this test. Please give me strength. I don't have the strength on my own. We don't have that strength. We turn to Krishna. I can't deal with this. Please help me. That may be there in our stage for sure. We turn to Krishna. It's a nice story. You may know the past time. There's one very nice thing I just heard. We were in a retreat in Govardhan, Satchinanda Maharaj was there. He told a very nice perspective. I had not thought of this before or heard it before. He told this nice incident. When Draupadi was in the Kaurava's court, and she was in a very difficult situation, and where Dusasana and Karna were trying to derobe her, no one came to her help. Not even her own husbands. Neither Bhishma, nobody. They all stood by, watching this dreadful scene, and Draupadi in an extremely troubled, difficult situation. What does she do? She tries to protect herself. It's a natural instinct. But what hope does she have against these Maharatis, these powerful Kshatriyas? Meanwhile, in Dwarka, I don't know where this is described. It must be somewhere. He wouldn't have made it up, I'm sure. I can't maybe think he gave a reference somewhere. But meanwhile, Krishna's in Dwarka. Well, that's a fact. And he's there with Rukmini. And he's playing chess with Rukmini. And Krishna's looking very disturbed. And he can't concentrate on the chess. Rukmini says, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "One of my very dear devotees is in great difficulty. Great difficulty." I said, "Then why don't you go and look after them?" He said, "I can't." "Well, why not?" "You'll find out." So, of course, things happen real quick. But as you may know from the past time, Draupadi, she was trying to protect herself. At a certain point of time, she realized that she couldn't protect herself. Try as she naturally would. She couldn't. So she basically threw her arms up and just said, "Whatever you want, Krishna." protect me or as you wish. I can do nothing. When she did that, Krishna really stopped. He stopped. He said, now I can help her. And of course, he immediately incarnated right there in the Kaurava's court as an unending sari. They could not derobe her. But as long as we have these mixtures, then it's not, we haven't got the real deal, as they sometimes say. We're still a little bit, one foot in this room, one foot in that. So Krishna wants all, he wants everything, he wants us. So sometimes he places in this situation, we have no choice but to take shelter of him. And that's when the real, you can say, protection, whatever you want to call it. He's always there, and we can be in that mood in any happiness and distress. We're supposed to be always conscious awareness of his protection, of his presence, his mercy and so on. Especially in these situations, it makes an opportunity to become even more aware and more conscious of that aspect. Krishna is our protector, he's our only shelter. We chant Hare Krishna, take shelter of Krishna. It's difficult, and when it's difficult, that's when you make advancement. When things are very easy, that's also good. But when it's not very easy and we make that sincere effort, then you get extra mercy, special mercy. So if you want to experience some special mercy, there are flights from Auckland. They don't go directly to Paris, unfortunately, but they go most of the way. We flew, one of our flights was nearly 17 hours long. We flew from Doha. It's the second longest flight in the world, apparently, commercial flight. From Doha to Auckland. I'm not recommending that. You can see for yourself a little bit more without any, let's say, much effort at all. A little more difficult situation. And it's in those difficulties. Prabhupada, you probably think of some really good examples, but Srila Prabhupada certainly didn't take up an easy challenge when he went to the Western world. He was a pure devotee, so no question of slipping away or, it was difficult though. It wasn't difficult, it was difficult. But Prabhupada just took shelter of the holy name, took shelter of the order of his guru, took shelter of Krishna, or whatever Krishna bestowed upon him, so be it. Devotees like that, we have to try to take shelter of the Lord, Narayana Parayana, Nakadaschara Bhagavati. We try to take shelter of the Supreme Lord, whether he puts us here or puts us there. And we have to at least try to cultivate this realization. Cultivate it. And in these situations of difficulty, it burns up. It can burn up many of the attachments we have to whatever it is we're attached to. Burn up false concepts. I had my first vivid experience of this was even before coming in contact with Krishna conscious movement. Very vivid. It's one of the most vivid of my life, really. Anyway, it's a long story, but I don't think so actually, but I was certainly at least as puffed up as I am now. Maybe even more, I don't know. But very puffed up. I thought it was something special. People were saying you were a little unusual. Even the university guru, LSD guru that is, the LSD guru always wanted to stay with me. I don't know why, I could never work it out. I tried to get away from him, but he wouldn't go. And he said, this is for you, these are the spiritual things. I didn't know what on earth was going on, but I started to develop a concept that I was some kind of crazy kind of spiritual messiah or something stupid. So I went to this big festival full of pride, big rock festival. Ended up being smashed to shreds. Smashed to shreds. I realized that we are nothing. We're just helpless specks. I didn't have any love for God or anything, but that part of realization was there. I still don't have. And there was no Krishna consciousness per se. But just having that experience of being humbled and being knocked down, we need it, and it's not nice. We know that. It needs to be there to some extent, at least, unless we purify our hearts and have the realization anyway. Otherwise, sometimes, other things. The other aspect of it too, of course, is that it's even great devotees may be put into difficulty because of various reasons, maybe because of their taking on the reactions of others, but also to teach example of how to go through things in difficulty. Ordinary people may not know how to cope. It can be very difficult, but pure devotees may show the way how to cope by their own example. It's easy to say words, but it's another thing to show by example of how to remain or become Krishna conscious in difficulties. To see Krishna's hand working in everything. To see Krishna's hand working in distress. Be working in adversity. Be working in, when things are tough. That's when you become tough in Krishna. Austerity. Without some penance or austerity, we can't advance in Krishna consciousness. So sometimes that's also related to penance, to help us to advance. But sincerity, different people are on different levels. Some are more sincere, no doubt. Will approach it differently. Some may give up. That's how it works. Their faith is very shallow. With the help of others who are stronger, they may be able to also ride the waves. And those who are very strong in faith, their faith will become stronger, much stronger. They'll be able to help others cross over that difficult ocean of existence of troubled water, crossing over troubled waters. I think there was a song like that one time. We need help. We need the help of devotees when we're in difficulty. So aside from one's own perspective, the whole idea is that the devotees help. They help. We're here to help. Try at least, if we can, if it's within our means, to help others to cross over that ocean of, troubled water. If you approach a devotee, try to ask for help. Don't struggle alone. If you can't swim, then ask for help. Don't be so proud that we don't ask for help. Be honest. So asking devotees for help, taking shelter of Krishna, trying to understand what's going on here, and so on and so forth, self, and now whatever you want to call it, reflection, analysis, many angles are there. How we can see Krishna's hand working in these situations. But usually we have to have help from the devotee. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Yes. Another practical thing, one of the things I found in difficult times, and it's difficult to carry on with certain issues, but practical thing, find something you like doing in relationship with Krishna. Something you naturally do, which you feel a little reciprocal. Others will reciprocate with you. You need a little bit of encouragement. So if you can, often is the case, even in difficulties, there's something we can do. It might be making garlands, it might be, cleaning up the garbage, it might be doing some financial accountancy, it could be anything. Something we can actually do, which, we get a little bit of pleasure and recognition from. That also can help sustain us from the external and of course consequently internal, so but specifically keeping us a little engaged, and you get a little taste, a little bit at least, to sustain us. That may be available. I've experienced that quite a few times actually. So it is possible. It may not be everyone the same, it's possible. Something practical. You might like just to paint, or you may like music, or something like that. Maybe you like to take prasadam. You can just sit down and eat all day long. And we all take recourse to that. When you're feeling down and out, you kind of often sneak into the kitchen and make yourself a big cheese sandwich or something. dive into a bucket of rasgulls or something. That's common also. Anyway, enough's enough. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you all very much for coming and staying for such a long period of time and tolerating. You've practiced tolerance. You've been very humble. I haven't had yet, of course it may come now, an avalanche of criticisms or whatever it is. I'll try not to criticize back. I'll try to practice that. Difficult to not defend ourselves, isn't it? We love to defend it. We don't know if we love it, but we all automatically try to defend ourselves in certain situations. Another blockage for our progress in spiritual life in many cases. So we'll try to remember that. And you certainly practice it very excellently this afternoon, this evening. I've been very tolerant and very humble and very patient and very respectful. And as I say, I haven't heard too many, other than that gentleman who came over and gave me this piece of paper telling me to be quiet and stop. Actually, no, it's not. It doesn't say anything. I've got such a perverted mind, I'm seeing that on the paper. Hare Krishna. Glory to Srila Prabhupada. So is prasadam ready? Is prasad ready?
Yes.
Prasadam's ready. Thank you, Srinivasa. Are you going to serve outside or inside? Okay, so... And you've been extremely patient to sit all afternoon without prasadam. I know it's a Kadashi, but still, that's quite an austerity. Jai. Jai Titachram Prabhu, some more lassi? Some more lassi. Can you bring him another 6 cups of lassi, please? He's only had 6 so far. That's not a very auspicious number, is it? 6? 11's auspicious. 108, okay. Let's see who can take 108 cups of lassi before the night Saturday. Anyway, not Lord Nityananda or Lord Balaram or something, or even Lord Chaitanya, who could eat a mountain. Hare Krishna, we should take our quota, and that's it. Pass. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.